I'm so happy I'm happy you're happy. Okay. Now, Grant, finally, we're coming to your guest. And we do have a lot of noise. There's a lot of background noise. So I really hope you can somehow get closer to the microphone because we have a lot of noise there. Could you please introduce your guest, Grant?
Oh, you can't hear us very well? Or yeah, can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay, cool. So this is Tripoli Burrows. He's a friend of mine. We met here in right here in Morelia, actually, if you can believe it or not. Tripoli's from the Bahamas, and I think he has like a really interesting perspective on. We talked a little bit about difference in business culture and economies and things like that. And I think he's a really thoughtful guy and has a really good like mindset and thinks about things. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear a little bit about. I think we'll just maybe talk a little bit about his story and like things that he's noticed in culture in the Bahamas and in the Caribbean in general. And if you guys have any questions for him, it'd be really cool to hear those as well.
Yes, before we go to the questions, maybe first of all, welcome, Mr. Burrows. Again, we hear a lot of music. You could get closer to your microphone because...
give me a second.
Yes, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Just get closer to your microphone, and if you could tell us what's been your experience being from the Bahamas and living in Mexico, talking about the culture shock and the different cultural differences.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me? It's good. Okay, well, I've been here in Mexico since February. I got stuck in the pandemic rush. My flight got canceled and everything. But I had a cousin here, so I did fine. And now I'm working with an organization, a missionary organization. But I'm from the Bahamas, which is a small country archipelago. It's a bunch of different islands. Everything's surrounded by water. But we're right next to Florida, which ties our economy very much to the United States and everything that goes on there. The economy's based on tourism. As far as I know, we don't have any oil or anything like that, and so they're really suffering right now. But it's less than 500,000 people. The Bahamas is the richest country in the Caribbean, and I think that's very much due to being very close to the United States and having a lot of tourists come in from the U.S., also Canada and Europe. And so, banking used to be big in the Bahamas because of offshore banking. It's gone down a bit because the U.S. has clamped down on people doing any banking outside of the U.S. and they wanted to have all the information about everybody's taxable income, and so it used to be big in the Bahamas, but it's slowed down. So it's mainly tourism now.
Have you noticed like any like from being here in Mexico? Have you noticed like differences in like how culture and how like the business culture is and how compared to Bahamas and Mexico or compared to like United States and Mexico, for example?
Well, I haven't seen that much of Mexican business yet because I'm not involved in business here. I can't do any business here right now. Definitely culturally, I've seen many differences, and just the Bahamas being a small place, is a big factor because the more people you have, and the more different, subcultures, and the more smaller economies within the larger economy creates more opportunities. And so I think that's one of the main hindrances for the Bahamas. But definitely coming here gives you a lot of ideas, because then you see how people do things differently, and that, I think that plays a big role in how you do business. Many people here, like, they have, actually the similar thing that I've seen is that many people here like have really, really small businesses. They will literally get on a street corner and choose something that is a part of the culture. Like right below my apartment is this lady that sells, fresh chicken, and her husband brings them fresh from the farm, loves them, and 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 that's
Chops
something.
them up.
Chops it up.
We used to wake up every morning to the sound of the knives, like chopping up the chickens, right? Because we live together in the same apartment. So.
And Bahamas is similar because there's less regulation, so you get I think here you can just go and do it, right? Says Mexico.
Yeah.
But in the Bahamas, you'd have to get like some sort of vending license, and then you could just go on the street. And in bigger economies, it's not that easy, because it's more regulation.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions for Tripoli, or like
Yes,
him as a person, or
if I can ask a question, first of all, Tripoli, thank you, because I think the fact that you have been sharing with us, I think these are huge differences, because first of all, as you said, the Bahamas is based in tourism, and all the economy we get is based in tourism. Now, you just got here a few months ago and you got stuck here because of COVID. So my question for you is, how is everybody doing back at home? Because of COVID, tourism must have been affected, and I believe it's an industry that right now it's being affected. So if Bahamas is a country which economy is based in tourism, do you know what's going on back home? Like, what do your family, what do your friends tell you? Is everything also the economy being affected? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, the economy has been affected in a huge way. I mean, the prime minister basically shut the country down for months and didn't let anyone in for fear of infection. And then when they did open up in July, for a while it was okay, and then a few weeks in, the infection rate started to go up, and then they closed everything down again. And that has had a huge effect on my family and business on the whole, because for the Bahamas, it starts with tourism, and that's where money starts flowing into the country. And so I think there are a lot of foreigners that like build second homes in the Bahamas, and so the construction industry hasn't been affected as bad, because you still have Americans and other foreigners coming and continuing to build as like just secondary like investments, and so that has kept going, and that's considered like an essential thing, and so they've allowed that industry to keep going without too much regulation.
That is actually very interesting what you're saying, because imagine if other countries had made the same decision about keeping the industry of tourism as essential. I think that was very smart, and I'm so glad your family and your friends are not being affected. Guys, any other question that you may have for Mr. Burrows? Questions, guys, come on. No questions? Nothing? Okay, I think we're starting to get tired because we've been here for over 2 hours. But maybe just one last question. I would like, I'm going to tell the names because you're not participating. Evelyn and Irving, you've been very quiet. So any questions there?
I have a question. I'm sorry, first of all, because I can't turn on my camera because of my internet. But you said at the beginning that you with, and you're like working in an organization, right? And so I wanted to ask you, like, what do you do in this organization right now? Like, did you stay here, like,
You talk about like being trapped in the indigenous community.
Yeah, well, it's a missionary organization, and so I'm being supported by people back at home, and we're doing humanitarian types of things, and so interesting that is actually I got I got stuck in an indigenous village for 2.5 months in Nayarit, and that was really, really, big culture shock and an experience that I had never had before. It's a town of about maybe 2,000 people. They're up in the mountains, and we couldn't leave. They told us if we left, then we couldn't come back, which was a problem because they had closed the border between the states, and so we couldn't go back to Michoacan, and so we had to stay. And they have a dam. The towns, it's basically the river and then the mountains behind you. So we were stuck. Luckily, my cousin had spent a lot of time in that village, and I was able to basically live there like a guest, and the people were awesome. Mexico, all the people in Mexico have been awesome since I've been here. I've had a wonderful experience culturally and love the food. It's been an awesome experience.
That's right.
That
Because
is
I
wonderful.
was going to ask you like about that, like now that you were saying that you stayed in this small village, that what did you thought about the people and how they were with you, how they treat you, like being an outsider, you know that every culture has a different reaction to people from somewhere else. So I think it's cool that you have that impression.
Yeah, they treated me very well. But then they had already accepted my cousin and his family from over years. They had been spending time in that village, and so actually my cousin helped them along with the government to help and get electricity in the village. And so the government actually put in a solar electricity plant, which gave them access to internet and other things. And so
Oh, that's so cool.
to see the transformation is an awesome thing.
This is wonderful, the work that you're doing at Tripoli. I think it is wonderful the job that you're doing as part of a missionary organization. I think that what you do, leaving your country and coming all these thousands and thousands of miles away just to help a community, it is really something that we recognize, and it is something that we can admire. And we're very happy that you came to our class because your story is really inspiring, you know? So I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say, guys.
Well, me just the same as Sada. Like, I found this that you're telling us very, very like a great story, and yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you. We really appreciate you sharing. And if nobody else has anything to say, well, I think that's pretty much it for our class. I know it was long, but I know it was worth it. We had 4 wonderful participants today. All of them were so different one from another. And next class, since we're only having Sarah's guest, we will make time to go back and talk about all the experiences and all the notes that you took today. Make sure to upload your notes, please. You have the forum, what I learned, and it's actually part of your project. Great. Make sure to upload your notes today, please. You have until the end of the day. thank you very much for being so wonderful and hanging in there, because I know it's been a very tiring day, but we won't cover theoretical classes no more until the end of the semester. We'll do this. We're learning more from listening to real people. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this. And thank you very, very much. See you next Thursday. Okay? Love you guys.
Bye. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.